Today we're at the largest Prevost converter in the world, and we have been all over, but this is the most grand facility we've ever seen in the luxury motor coach industry. And I've been a huge fan of Marathon now for a long time. Great to finally be here with you.
And I'm so excited that you are. I am so excited not to just tell you about Marathon, but to show you Marathon. And that's kind of my plan for today in our facility of the mothership, also known as our world headquarters here in Coburg, Oregon.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to all of you seeing what is going on here at Marathon Coach. We've never seen a facility like this. Marathon Coach converts more Prevost motorhomes than anybody else in the industry. What is it about Marathon Coach that creates such a demand?
This is such a great opportunity to be able to show you, not just tell you about Marathon and everything that happens in here. It's kind of like Coach 1422 here. This coach really stands out, and there's so many things about inside the mothership that stand out. I'm honored to be able to take you around the facility and show you the power of Marathon.
So when someone comes here to Coburg, Oregon to purchase a Marathon Coach, these are the doors they're going to walk through?
This is it, yes. This is the front end of our building. Come on in. So when a customer comes in, this is kind of the first thing they get to see here at our world headquarters. This is a place where vendors come in and guests come in. We do a lot of tours here. One of the things about being here in the middle of Oregon is we get a lot of groups that come in from a tourism standpoint. If you are an RV fan or you're really into camping even, a lot of people make this a stop. Multnomah Falls in the Portland area, Crater Lake National Park down in Southern Oregon, and right here in the middle of the state, you've got Marathon Coach, the largest converter of the Prevost chassis. So a lot of people like to make this a destination in the state of Oregon. And so they come in here and they get to see this facility starting right here. And in our lobby, we've got everything from our calendars and all of our brochures. But one of the things they get to do, Andrew, is they get to come in here and take a look at our boutique. Our boutique is really cool, but it's got some things in here for owners, but also for people that just enjoy Marathon as a brand.
You've got plenty of golf shirts for your owners there. I know you probably have some golfers as owners of Marathon.
We do. We've got everyone from novice golfers up to the professionals, but this is a tire that is worn by our owners and our staff. And this is something we have at all three Marathon locations, Florida, Dallas, and here at the mothership.
Now, if people are passing through here, can just normal folks stop in and buy a Marathon Coach golf shirt?
Absolutely. Monday through Friday, we do a tour around 11:30, which corresponds with our production facility taking a lunch break. And so a lot of people come in here and they take tours, but one of the things they can do is they can leave with a souvenir of Marathon, and that's kind of a neat thing. Whether it be they come in here and they purchase something, or they get our calendar or our brochures, or even our Maritime magazine, which is really neat.
I know there's a lot more going on around here. You mind showing us around?
Andrew, let's get it. Let's go.
Now, I know you guys don't ever name drop around Marathon Coach. I can't get names out of you, but looks like some celebrity memorabilia here. What's all going on here?
This wall is kind of a great example of our celebrity owners, past and current. And so it's just kind of a nice display to show off some of the celebrity owners that we've had over the years from all kinds of different industries.
One of my favorites there, the Dallas Cowboys
I know you've
Marathon
seen that
Coach.
Yeah.
Really cool Marathon Coach. I think they might even have a couple of them.
You know, I'm not sure, but I'll tell you this. That's one of the most recognizable coaches around the whole United States. There's several really cool coaches, but that one, you're absolutely right, gets a lot of attention. But the biggest thing is behind that door, and that is the main plant. And this is the production floor here at Marathon.
So I wasn't expecting to see a red carpet out here, but
we rolled it out.
Yeah, what's all going on here?
This is called the display stall, and this is what we do for our deliveries. So when a customer comes and they're going to take delivery of their coach, whether it be pre-owned or a new coach, this is where they come, and this is where we start going through the coach with them. Some people have owned many marathons, some have never owned a marathon, and so it depends on their needs for their delivery. Some people take a 2-day delivery, some people might need a full week. So we start usually right here. They go over their coach, they learn their coach, and a lot of times we'll go right out the bay door and we'll get them set up in Camp Marathon for the evening or for several days so that they're learning their coach. And we have a good support staff that helps them through the process of learning the coach. This is Coach 1431, and this is an example of a coach that just came out of paint. This chassis came down from Quebec. The first thing it does is it goes through shell prep, and then it goes into paint. Paint can be anywhere between 30 and 40 days, and it all, of course, depends on the complexity of the paint project. But this coach, fresh out of paint, and now what it's going to do is it's going to hit the production floor. From this point, the teams will be in and they'll start doing install, of course, starting with wire pulling.
So this is an empty shell on the inside then?
That is correct.
Wow, I would have almost thought it was a finished out coach, but I started to see it's missing some lights, a couple little things
Yes.
on the outside that'll get buttoned up.
Yes, and another thing that we do is after the paint cures for a while, we have our team cut and buff right here, and something that's near and dear to your heart is the paint and controlling the beauty of the paint. And so one of the things that we do after it's been through paint is we do a lot of attention to detail on that paint and making sure that it stands and pops as much as we can.
Yes, sir, and you mentioned earlier Camp Marathon coach outside
Yes.
there. You've got more 50 amp outlets outside than any other facility I've ever seen. Maybe there's a couple RV resorts, maybe Motor Coach Country Club has
Yes.
more 50 amp, but not many places in the world with more 50 amp than here.
And that's part of the blessing of this facility is that we have 17 acres. And because we have the 17 acres, we have a lot of room to stretch our legs, or a lot of room for our customers to come in and park, and owners come back regularly to Marathon, whether it be Florida, Texas, or here at the mothership, to bring their coach for service. Or let's say they're traveling, if they're coming from Montana and they're headed down to, like you mentioned, Motor Coach Country Club. If they're on that way down, they can stop here for a couple of days, whether they have a service appointment or not. They can stay at Camp Marathon, plug in, rest, have some time to go over to the Oregon coast, or a place that you know well, Bend, Oregon, which is always a fun location. But it's really nice for us to have the facility for them to be able to come and hang out.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite places in the country. There's some amazing golf courses,
Oh.
the Oregon coast, just so much to do. Some oldies out there too.
Yes.
Now, is there an age limit of how old of a marathon coach someone can come here at the facility?
Not at all. The older the better. And that's because the Prevost chassis is designed to last for decades. So one of the neatest things that we see here regularly is marathons that are 40 years old, or marathons like this guy right here that's just entering production. So we've got coaches that are 26s, jumping into the 27s, all the way back to coaches from the 1980s. So it's really neat to be able to see that, and that changes every week here, whether it be at Camp Marathon or in our service department.
Yes, sir. And as we walk kind of onto the production line here, I've seen the videos of it, but to see it in person, this is absolutely immaculate. As we walk onto your production line, there is a lot going on. You can tell some hardworking folks in here. This is a serious operation.
It really is. I'm really excited to show you this. This is our main production floor of our production facility. So everywhere from this side to the other side of the building, from paint all the way down here to the production floor, there's so much going on, and every day is different.
Well, I can tell how organized it is. You know, everything is extremely organized. Even the itinerary we had for filming today
Yes.
is organized. You guys are very buttoned up around here. You've got a lot of processes put into place, I can imagine.
We really do, and we've spent a lot of time working on those processes. It continues to grow and it continues to get better, and we get a lot of input from a lot of our staff. From the top to the bottom, a lot of people are included in making sure that the process works best to make the best product that we can. At the end of the day, and at the beginning of the day, satisfy those customers. They're the ones that dictate what sells. They're the ones that dictate what is needed in the industry. It's really a fun thing to be on this production floor because it always changes.
Well, I know your owners have the highest level of expectations, so I
Yes.
can imagine they're always pushing you to the limits of what can be done.
You know, they really do. That's kind of the thing about building custom luxury coaches. That's what we do here. And so every single one of these coaches has its own identity. And not just because it has a number, but because the interior, the paint jobs, the people that are already going to own that coach. Some of these are already spoken for, some of these are for sale. So there's a lot of coaches out here that they might look the same, but by no means are they the same because there's so many different aspects to the coach.
Yeah, a lot of different stories behind all of these coaches. Now, can you maybe show us around a little bit more what's going on around
Yeah, let's go this way. And one of the things about our production facility and the blessing of this building and having such a large staff is that we can specialize in specific things, specific jobs. Just from where I'm standing right here, Andrew, I could see people specializing in plumbing, electrical, ceiling applications, all kinds of different aspects of building the coach.
And can I ask how many employees are here at the mothership in Coburg?
So there's approximately 260 employees across the 3 locations, but here at the mothership at our world headquarters in Coburg, we have 220 employees.
And I know there's a lot of Marathon Coach employees that have been here for several decades. Now, how long? I've been watching you on YouTube for probably almost a decade at least.
Yes, 9 years I've been doing Marathon Mondays. We have employees, I mean, just from where I stand here, I could see employees that have worked here for 20, 30 years. And that's one of the things you'll see on this tour is we have employees that started in this month, but a lot of employees that have been here for 30 years and they're all working together. It's really a neat thing. So the longevity of the employment is a big blessing to building these coaches.
Well, and a wealth of knowledge with all of that wisdom in this building, and I can imagine some of those veteran employees are sharing that wisdom with some of the newer employees.
Absolutely,
So
we see that all the time. And like when I started, I was gravitating towards people that had the experience in all of these departments because I came so green. I mean, I was as green as Kermit when I started. And so when I came here, it was, hey, let's get with someone in paint. Well, we've got guys in paint that have been there 15, 20 years. So let's learn from them. We've got people on this floor in paint, in cabinetry, in service, in administration, people that have been here for so much time. And you're absolutely right. When I came, I was gravitating towards learning from the people that have a lot of experience here at Marathon.
as we're standing here talking, I'm seeing a lot of different buses in different stages.
Yes.
Now, is there a specific flow here? Like we saw that empty shell up front. Now, what stage is this bus behind me in?
These coaches come out of paint and they come right down here to the production floor. And for the most part, Andrew, they stay in this slot. So this guy right here is gonna stay in slot number 5 for the majority of its production schedule. And then at some point, with about a month and a half to go, it's gonna move over to the slot number 6, which is kind of our finishing spot on our production floor. But for the most part, what we do is we take that salon slide out, completely out, we pop it down here on the floor, we roll this scaffolding in here, and staff can come in and out, and large appliances and ceilings. It's really a neat process to be able to see so much going on in this spot. And so from where we stand, we can see many coaches in different modes of production. Some just started production, and some are getting close to completion.
And I can see how the flow works here. So it looks like a lot of the work gets done here kind of in the center of the room, and then folks can take stuff directly to the coaches as it's built.
Absolutely, yes. And that's one of the things you'll see, that these workbenches that are in the middle, they help support the coaches that are on the east and the west side of the building. There's, I think, approximately 9 coaches right now on the production floor. And then they move to quality control. Our QC department takes control of it at the end of production. QC can take anywhere between a week and a half to 3 weeks, depending on. So basically, they take that out of production and work on the quality control in post-production.
Now I see quite a few H's in production right now. I know Marathon also converts the X model Prevos. Do you know about how many X's versus H's you make, and then how many double slides versus triple slides versus quad slides?
Absolutely, that's a darn good question. And the reason it's a good question is because the customer dictates, the demand dictates what we build. We do a good flow of X's and H's, and what a blessing that Marathon still builds on both Prevo chassis, the X3 and the H3. And every year is different. Sometimes it changes to, you know, a 60-40 split, a 70-30 split. It all depends on what the customer demands. Now, you asked about double slides versus triples versus quads. Once again, back to the demand of the customers. We build a nice blend of all double slides, triples, and quads. Lately, you and I have both seen in the industry more of a demand for triples and quads. And so Marathon is, in the coming year, you'll see more triples, you'll see more quads, because that's what the customers are going to. Quite frankly, the doubles will never go away because they're in hot demand. There's so much benefit to having only 2 slides, and we say only like that, like that's horrible, but it's like with 2 slides, A lot of people prefer that over the triples or the quads.
It's a great machine, especially for traveling and while you're going down the road with the 2 slides. And we all only see double slide X's. Do they ever do a triple or a quad in the X?
Good question. Historically, they have done that. With Marathon, what we do is we focus on what Prevost engineers for us to do. Historically, there are Marathon triple X's. There are quad X's that are still out there on the road. Right now, it comes down to double slide X's because that's what is needed.
I'm looking at all these cool coaches around the room here, and I'm just wondering, what are some of the stories? Like this triple slide behind us, is this spoken for? Is it a custom order, or what's the story with this coach?
This is coach 1429. This one is still available. So we have what's called a designer choice, as you can see right there. Designer choice meaning paint and interior has already been decided by our staff here at Marathon. When coaches are not pre-sold to a customer, they're called designer choices here at Marathon. And we build them, they're extremely still custom, but it doesn't have a customer yet. And a lot of times what will happen, and we just had this happen last week, is a customer will get a finished coach that started as a designer choice, and they'll say, I love it, but I want to change these 7 things. Because it happens all in this one building, we have the ability to change them. Upholstery right there, paint right at the end of the block. It's all in this one building. And so it's like, here we are being able to change things. If someone comes in and says, oh, I love it, but I wish it had a different floor, we could do that right here on this production floor. Change a coach that's already done. So designer choices are a wonderful thing for us to have because it allows us to finish this coach and get it out there and show people. It's a blessing to be able to build so many coaches and have inventory to take and show customers and sell them and get them into a Marathon.
Yeah, and how many coaches a year is Marathon currently building?
So it's going to be around 20 right now. And as you can see, we've got, I think it's about 9 coaches on the production floor right now. Some of them are already spoken for and some of them aren't. Some of them, while they're in production, will get spoken for. Some of these have people that are interested in them. And someone comes in and they say, hey, I'd like to get a Marathon, but I don't want to wait a year and a half. All right, well, come on in. We've got several on the floor that are in some mode of production. Some will be done in 2 months, some will be done in 3, some will be done in 4. Come in and take a look. Let's get to it and find out maybe this floor plan fits you, and we can have them come in and make a decision that way.
Yeah, a lot of options here. No shortage of coaches around here.
No.
There's a lot going on in this coach.
There's a lot going on.
I see at least 4 or 5 guys in there right now. What's happening with this coach currently?
So our craftsmen are in there right now doing several different things, but I believe what they're doing is they're installing the sofa. It's got about 3 weeks before it goes to the audit process or our quality control process, which, for the lack of a better term, is the very end of production. And that's why it's in this stall here. It's been moved here for the finishing touches. And they've just rolled that sofa in, lifted it in. Now they're gonna bolt it down and secure it properly. There's a lot going on in there. There's a lot of cabinets being fit and finished in there.
And I noticed the warmer colors. We were talking off camera earlier. Yeah. The designs have really evolved from the more sterile whites and grays into the warmer tones, but still ultra modern. Now, is this coach available, and what's the story with it?
Yeah, 1424, you're absolutely right. The trends change, and so Marathon does the same. So 1424, it's still modern, but it's warmer tones, like you said. 1424, this is a double slide H, and it is available. It's gonna be completed in about a month. This is one of those coaches that is not gonna last long for a lot of people because the colors inside and out are pretty dynamic.
Yeah, really timeless classic design with the black, red, and gold on the exterior, and then just a little bit of the interior I'm seeing from out here. It's got a stunning look to it.
You're right, and this is one of those coaches that doesn't offend anyone. That's a nice way of saying there's a lot of people that appreciate these colors on the exterior, and the floor plan. So the floor plan is so important, as you well know. The colors can be great and the floor plan can be whack. If everything comes together, that's where a lot of people like it. And so Marathon listens to the customers of what kind of floor plan they want, what kind of colors they want to see.
I want to ask you more about floor plans because you guys have done some floor plans on like anything we've seen in the Prevost industry.
Yes.
But let's walk around a little bit more here and look around the shop a little bit.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of great looking coaches.
Don't you love that?
But this red is really popping. Now, I want to know more about, Marathon and what really separates you with the quality of the finished product. What are some of the things you do in the production process that really take that quality to the next level?
I think you just said it. It's the process. I think the process is very important to the quality and the longevity of our coaches. Having 220 employees on every day, that's what allows us to do 8 to 9 coaches right now on this floor. Once a coach is completed, another coach comes in. And yeah, as we sit here with this amazing paint job, you're right. I've seen this so many days in a row, but just standing here with you, it really does pop. I can't wait to see that out in the natural light. But you nailed it, Andrew. The process is what makes our coaches have that extra quality. Here we are standing in kind of the wire harness area. This is where wire pulling starts. Wire pulling is the part of the process that happens right after paint. So when a coach comes out of the paint department, which is at that side of the building, it comes down here and these wires are already staged and ready to be brought by a team into each coach. And they literally come off of the harnesses and go right into the coach. Wire pulling takes a while. It's very important to get the infrastructure of the wire pulling and the wire harness and the wire installation correct, because the wiring lasts for decades. When we do a remodel, we take a coach that's 20, 25, 30 years old at sometimes, and we reimagine it for the new owner. It could be the 3rd, the 4th, or the 5th owner. The one thing that seems to just stay standard on every coach, depending on the age, is the wiring, and that's why it's so important to get it right. It's always cool to be able to see the team have all of this prepared and take it to a coach and then install it. And that installation can take a couple of weeks. And everybody gets wrapped up in how many miles of wires, and they say, oh, it's 7 miles. I don't know how many miles of wires goes into every coach. I'll tell you it's a lot, but the one thing that always stands out, and when we go into this coach right here, 1423, I'm gonna show you the quality of the installation. And I think that's really important because you want every aspect, not just the things that you see, the cabinetry, the floor, the ceiling, the upholstery, not just those aspects, but what's behind those walls to be engineered and installed correctly and with an idea of longevity, because the chassis is designed to run for decades. The house should do the same. The house should mirror the chassis, and Marathon has a goal of doing that on every single coach.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can just see the organization and the way everything is done here. I can see there's a lot of thought put into that.
Andrew, when I started at Marathon, I knew nothing about this. I came from selling steel, not a play on your last name, but I was selling raw steel for over a decade. And I came in here very green, very new to the industry. And this is a fun product. You and I help support a very fun industry. People get out on the road and they enjoy these things. And part of the enjoyment is the quality of the product. And that's so important for so many of these people. They're investing a lot of money in Marathon. And so one of the things that really provides the enjoyment for them is that these coaches are built so well. And I'm really wanting to take you in here and show you kind of that quality behind the wall.
So you said this is coach 1423. Is this a double slide?
This is a double slide. I'm excited to show you this because bay setups are so important for the enjoyment of the customer. Some people prefer nothing in their bays. Some people prefer slide outs. Some people, like this customer, they want an entire entertainment scenario in their bay setup. And this is extremely custom, but this is what we do at Marathon. 9 times out of 10, this is what you're gonna see out of a custom Marathon. They wanted a scenario where they have the barbecue here and they can see the television as it comes out of bay 3 here on the curbside. When the customer came in, they described to me, literally, as I'm standing here, this is what they were doing. I like to do this. And they were showing me. That's what we built. And it's kind of cool to see it to go from the customer describing what they wanted to our engineers listening, our designers helping, and then our production team building this amazing barbecue right here. And that's really what this is. Storage, additional pop out here. It's still going to provide storage because there's storage behind, there's storage in bay 2, and then of course in bay 3, you've got that also. But this is one of the cool aspects of this coach.
Yeah, I can imagine all of the great ideas your customers bring you, because they're the ones using these coaches that
Absolutely.
really understand them on a different level, and then pushing you guys to the limits of what's able to be done in a motor coach. I'm sure you have some stories. Are there any coaches that you can remember, any stories that really stick out of
yes.
customers that said, hey, look, I want this done this way, this is why, that really challenged you guys?
Absolutely, and that's kind of the thing about being a custom luxury coach builder, is that we get a lot of people coming to us with, and I want to quote, you know, the Disney Imagineers here. They come to us with issues and we say yes and figure out how to get it done. And that's one of the things that I'm really proud of our staff, and the authenticity of this staff here is that they figure out people's problems. And I say problems, what I mean is people's problems. Look at this. Someone comes here and they say, I want this. Can you build that? We say yes and figure out how to get it done. And I think that's one of the things that we really pride ourselves on in production, in engineering, and in design, is that we really listen to the customer. And that happens from day one to right in the middle of production. When we're in production, if a customer says, I saw something on an Andrew Steele video, can you do this? Or I saw something in another marathon, can you do that? Absolutely, let's do it. Or, well, let's see what we can do. We have a lot of owners that have dogs, you know, and those people, some people have dogs that are dogs, and some people have dogs that are like their children.
Yeah, I'm one of those.
And you're one of those, so am I. And so they wanted bunks for their children or for their large dogs. They wanted something that was going to be safe for them, and so we had to come up with a scenario where they wanted bunks for these large standard poodles to get up into the bunks. So the top bunk comes down, the big dog gets in, it goes up, and literally they had like a harness inside, not to the dog, but literally it was like a netting cage, so that that dog, when it fell asleep, if it rolled, it didn't roll out. And then the dog on the bottom was a different type of dog. It was a little bit more, I'm out, I'm in and I'm out, I want to go check, I need a drink of water, you know, what's going on outside, things like that. And so it needed the ability to come out. So you put it just at a little tilt, the dog can get out easier, and it was also older. You put that at a tilt and it gets right out. Helping people with their dreams is such an awesome aspect of my job. This is a good example. I want to show you inside here, because with this family, they had some specific things that they wanted, and so we applied that in this coach. Let's go check it out.
This is coming together nicely now. It's still no recliners here, kind of an open area?
Absolutely.
What's going on in
Well,
here?
what's going on is we are in the middle of audit on Coach 1423, and so you'll see some things are covered like the sofa, and some things are not applied yet, like the two recliners. One of the last things we do are bring those recliners in here, and that helps retain the newness and the cleanliness, and it also avoids any damage that could happen. So we leave the recliners out pretty much until we're ready to do decor, photos and videos, and those last aspects. But this coach right here is a good example of listening to the customer and applying what they want. And that's really an important part of what we do here, is we are very, very good. Our staff is so awesome at listening to what the customers want. These cup holders are a great example. It's something so simple and so mundane that you don't think about it, but the customers do a lot of entertaining in the coach. And so in their current marathon, they don't have cup holders built in. They wanted it, we did it. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that I can see right from where I'm standing of these cup holders. It's something so simple as that. The people that use the coach day in and day out, they know what's important, they know what's needed, and listening to them from a design standpoint is so important. But I really want to show you wiring. Yeah. And we were talking about the wiring outside. Let's go to the back of this coach, because this will give me a great opportunity to show you the first aspect of the production after paint is those wire pulls. And we were talking outside about how important it is to get it right. And one of the things I love showing in our coaches, and this is just an access door that allows me to show it to you, but it allows us to service the coach. This is modern art. I mean, this is an organized Jackson Pollock, if you will. Some people say it's aircraft quality. I call this marathon quality because we go above and beyond the standards when it comes to our wire harnesses. Everything has its own specific place, and we specialize in doing it right. Everything is above standard. The bundles are done properly, and everything is labeled in multiple locations. And I really love seeing that, not just because it shows the quality, because I don't know what's going on back here, Andrew. I really don't. What I do know is that our service techs, our engineers that design these coaches, they're able to come back here and say, okay, we're having problems with this. I know exactly where I need to go to troubleshoot that problem that you're having on that coach. Or you want to change that? Okay, I know what to do. Being able to see all of this is so important, and it's also accessible. This is an example of what flows throughout this coach. This coach has many areas that are accessible like that behind walls, and it's all done in a proper fashion so that the product will last for decades.
And it's funny you mentioned that, because I was just thinking that's very similar to the marathon coaches that are 20 plus years old that I've seen. And even if you look at a 20, 30-year-old marathon and you go back and look at that wiring, I mean, everything is still super clean. Everything's held in place. And then I've heard people talk about, even on older coaches, if they do need to fix something, does Marathon Coach have like a customer service or a troubleshooting hotline if someone does have an issue?
Absolutely. During hours, we have the 3 locations, of course. But after hours, we have an 800 number where they can get service, get help, get troubleshot if they have problems. There's so much when it comes to taking care of the customer, and one of the things that we do well at taking care of customers is that after hours line. If you own a marathon, you can call that 800 number. If you own a 40-year-old marathon, you can call that number and get some help. And that's one of the really true things that benefits the customers of buying a marathon. If you're buying a new marathon, you can get after hours service. If you own a 40-year-old marathon, you can get after hours service. And that is our dedication to those customers, those investors, people that are buying our product, whether it be a pre-owned marathon on its 4th owner or a brand new marathon. That is what we subscribe to do.
Well, and you also have those service centers. I think that's a huge advantage that no one else in the luxury motorhome industry is doing, is you've got service centers on the East Coast, West Coast, and Central USA.
What a blessing to have 3 locations. We're the only Prevost converter to have multiple locations. And so Florida, Dallas, Texas, and here in Oregon, we see coaches from the 80s here. We see 40-year-old marathons still on the road coming in. Hey, I need a windshield. Can you reupholster my sofa? Absolutely. One of the things that we show and highlight in the Marathon Mondays with Mal show is that we show a lot of the remodels. That shows right there that we work, service, and reimagine even the old marathons, which are just such a wonderful thing to have. There's a reason we build on the Prevost chassis, not just for the safety and comfort of our owners today, but the safety and comfort and enjoyment of our owners 30, 40 years from now. This coach, Andrew, I hate to say it, brother, but you and I will either be long gone,
yes, sir. True
and this
story.
coach will still be on the road. And it's because of things like this. It's because of what's behind this wall and the quality and the time and effort that our teams take into putting this together. Because of processes like this, on day 1, day 35 years from now, this coach will still be on the road because we build it right here in this facility.
Well, and that reminds me, a few months ago at the Prevost show out in Ocala, the star of the show, I think I even said it in the video, was like a 90s marathon.
I love it.
That had gone through a remodel at Marathon. It was an old non-slide XL.
Yes.
I don't know if you know that coach, but I mean, people were fighting over that coach.
I saw it. I heard about it. I had talked to a few people that got to see it at that show. That's just it. It's like, what a great industry that you and I work in. Everybody builds beautiful coaches, and I love seeing a 35-year-old marathon. I'm trying to go back to 1990. A 35-year-old marathon still on the road, still making people excited And that's one of the cool things, you know, you bring that up and it's like, what a highlight for the owner of that coach to be able to share it with people that have a 26 marathon. It's just neat.
Yeah, and really a testament for the marathon quality to see a coach like that.
And that's one of the things about having 220 employees within this building, is they get to specialize in what they're special at.
So many cool marathons in here. Is this one spoken for?
Yes, this one is already spoken for. I mean, look at this beautiful paint job.
Yeah, you were just pointing out to me that you guys brought the paint job behind the grill. That's like a brand new kind of feature I've never seen before.
I absolutely love that, because you, depending on which way you look at it, it's, you could see the entire detail of that front end, and it's all behind this grill.
Yeah, so many different variations and little improvements that you guys make over the year. Now, flooring is something that Marathon has always done exceptionally well.
Yes.
And you were just telling me there's a lot of thought that goes into your flooring, and a lot of that takes place back here?
Yes, our flooring team is very skilled at so many different floors, because the customers might want something completely different in one, and then the next coach the team has to do is a completely different floor. And if you look over here, Andrew, we have all of these coaches represented: 1426, 1428, 1427, 1429, and these are the floors that have been selected to go into each coach.
This has got to be more of like a tile backsplash than a floor?
Correct. So it could be the risers for the stairway going into the coach at the entry, or it could be simply in the galley, it could be in the water closets, it could be in the rear bath. This is something that our team does in several different applications. But main floors, usually at this point, because all of our floors are heated, you've got the ceramic tile, you've got tile that looks like wood if you want that wood look. And then of course we still do a bamboo floor for real wood also.
Something that Marathon's always really impressed me with is the different transitions that you're able to do.
Yes.
It'll look like a wood and then a tile, but if you look closely at the floor cuts, I mean, it's incredible at how it'll line up perfectly, two different materials,
Yes.
but the cuts are perfect. I've got to tip my hat to the craftsmen here that make that happen.
Tristan's team, she's the head of our flooring department. They are so well experienced at not just transitions between two different materials, but getting grout lines correct. I mean, these are the things that when you are of this caliber of a coach, when you're in a marathon, everything needs to be right, and fit and finish is what Marathon is really known for. And so grout lines, you don't want some thick, you don't want some thin, you want them all consistent. Also, you want the longevity of the product. I mean, this is one of the themes that we're talking about, and that's one thing that this team behind me, they really focus on, making sure that the installation is so well done so that you're getting something that's going to last a long time.
Well, and we see some of these Marathon coaches, 10, 20 plus years old, and I would tell people, don't touch these floors. The amount of time and effort that goes into them, they're just like artwork, some of these coaches.
I could talk about this all day, but really showing you this inside a coach, like when we were in the coach earlier, looking at that floor and seeing how the installation of that flooring goes, it's just really second to none.
You got any cool floors that you could show us around here?
Let's go do it.
So this is really cool to see these coaches coming together. So here we have Marathon Coach 1427, and then 1426 is next door, and then 1425 is going to be down there. And we can really see big differences at where they are in the production process. Now, where's 1427 currently?
So 1427's got the ceiling already installed, and the wire pulling and the wire harnesses are right now being applied. One of the things you pointed out was the progression of seeing 1427 next to 1426, and then eventually 1425 right next to it. And this you'll see in here, the ceiling's been installed, wire harnesses are hanging and dangling everywhere, but this is what we are doing. We are taking the time to pull wires, and you see a craftsman in the rear of the coach back there literally applying the rear wiring in the coach. This is a process that can take several weeks because it has to be done correctly. And so we have someone who specializes in wires right now installing back there. Another thing you can see in this coach is the beginning of the floor. The flooring team has come in here and they've started to assign the tiles to this floor. You and I are standing on the finished floor, so it's got heated mortar underneath us. and then the floor, the tile, and then the protective pieces that you and I are standing on. And then they will extend that out as they move along.
Yes, sir, and we can see all the blueprints kind of taped to the wall right here. I'm assuming this is like an instruction manual for the craftsmen that are assembling this coach?
That is correct. Another thing you'll see is not just on the walls, but on the floors, you will see different areas where this is going to be plumbing and different cutouts and how things need to be done.
Up front here, you could see how clean everything is. Now I see the wires going through this kind of harness here that is flexible. What are we looking at here?
This right here is actually for the Prevo slide out. So this is for the slide out mechanism, but you are absolutely right. Look at all of the wiring that goes up through this pillar in the cockpit. All of this is going to be covered with upholstered coverings, and this is where that TV goes, that 55-inch TV that comes down. And of course the cockpit has been completely removed so that the wiring is there. And this is one of the neat things about Marathon is you and I standing here in front of this, it's very transparent. This is the proper way to build a coach, is taking your time and applying the wiring in the proper fashion so that everything can be serviced, everything can be obtainable, and also it'll last. Look at the skill and effort that went into just these harnesses that are above where the TV is going to be.
Yeah, it's all extremely impressive. And you know, one thing that sometimes we forget to talk about and we take for granted is where it all starts on the Prevo foundation. And I'm going to just, can I step down right here?
Absolutely.
Okay? Right here. I mean, look at that steel structure right there. That's part of that Prevo foundation. And we can still see some of that structure at this point. Now, that's going to all get covered up by all the beautiful, you know, Marathon coach finishes.
Yes.
But it all starts with the Prevo shell.
You're absolutely right, and I'm glad you brought that up because the Prevo shell is where it starts. You see a lot of coaches, and the Prevo conversions, the Marathon build in a Prevo, there's a reason we start with the Prevo chassis. It's so robust and it's so safe, and it's not just for the longevity of the product, but the safety of the people that are purchasing the product, whether it be the first owner or the fifth owner. And it's the reason we take so much time to build this coach is we build on that best chassis. We want to build the best house on that chassis that we can.
Yeah, definitely a million-mile machine. This coach has a lot of life in it.
Absolutely, it really does. And like I mentioned, and I love going back to this, the chassis is designed to go for decades, and the house should do the same. And so that's why we have a quality build, and that's why this wiring can take weeks to get the wiring right. Everything has a correct position, a correct place. All of this is going to be behind walls, behind cabinetry, but we need to know where it is, and that's why everything is documented.
One step closer to the finish line is coach 1426 here. I love the exterior look of this, but what's the story here?
Well, here's the deal. We were just in 1427 and we saw the wires being pulled and the harnesses hanging. Now, here we are, one coach further down in production, a time length. It's got more infrastructure set up. So the wire pulling is for the most part done, but you've got more of an infrastructure. Let's head on inside and I'll show you what I mean. So here we are inside 1426. It's a lot further along in production. You see right behind you, Andrew, the curbside Wayne's wall has been put in. Right there is going to be 2 recliners, a fireplace, and a TV that comes out on a televator right there. And then, of course, the galley has been installed. The pantry and the refrigerator is also installed. So one coach down from 1427. Here in 1426, we see a lot more infrastructure of the guts of the coach being installed. I see that the shower is getting ready to have some tile work done, and the floor is still going to extend through into the bedroom.
Is this coach available, or is it already spoken for? Or?
This one is available. 1426 is available. And so one of the things that I like to do with a customer is a customer will call and they'll say, hey Mal, I'm looking for a double slide. I'm looking for 2 recliners and something with a lot of good storage. This is that perfect floor plan. We have a couple of them on the production floor right now, and I can show them, and because we have digital files of all of the selections that have been made, and when I mean showing them the walls and the cabinets, and I can show them the selections that have been decided for the floor. What is the ceiling gonna look like? And because we have a catalog of videos, I could say, and here is a finished version of your floor plan in a different coach, so they can visualize what that's going to look like. And so literally I could take them through all of the selections that's been made in 1426, and they can make a decision. Okay, I do love those colors. That's the coach that I want. That's the floor plan that I want. Let me put a deposit on that coach while it's still in production, and then they'll be able to get their coach when it's completed.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this come together. I love the light and dark contrast here.
Yes.
So I'm seeing the darker color, like the little art recess right here, but then also as we go back, the more lighter color bulkhead walls there
Yes.
that kind of tie in with that black and white and silver exterior. This is going to be a really cool spec when it all comes together.
It really is, and these are colors that are never going to go out of style, and I think Marathon does a very good job at capturing that. Something that is going to appeal to a lot of people over a lot of different styles. And you're absolutely right. I love the two-tone, and that's something that is a hot trend right now in our industry, is the two-tone. The floors need to correspond to everything, so does the ceiling and upholstery. So this coach, when it's completed, coming together, it's going to look fantastic.
Yeah, and I see the indirect lighting is already in there. Really nice indirect lighting in these coaches.
Yeah, and like we were talking about earlier, 1426, for the most part, has sat right here since it came out of paint. And so teams come in, and certain teams specialize in cabinetry. So they come in and they fit this. And then they might see something that they don't like. They're gonna take this entire cabinet out, take it back over to the shop, and then reapply it. Or the flooring team will come in. The audio-visual team will come in and do the lighting. Someone right now is starting to work on doing the tile work in the shower. So you're gonna see different teams come in, because we have so much staff here that they specialize in different departments. We have that luxury of having many people that do different things, and so they can come in and do different jobs at one time.
Yes, sir. Now, I think next door is coach 1425, which
Even
is
further along.
one step closer. Can we take a look there?
Let's go check it out.
So this is coach 1425 here?
This is 1425. Andrew, come take a look at this, because this is a really cool transition in production. He's doing the floor as we speak. So we've moved literally from 1427 to 1426, 1425 with the exposed floor right here. So they're at this point where they're doing some finishes to the actual floor with the grout lines and everything. And you see a lot more infrastructure is in. You see some of the galley lower drawers are in, the pantry drawers are in. This coach, 1425, it's literally gonna be moving across the facility here in about 2 weeks to kind of the finishing area. So this guy's got about a month and a half left in production.
And is this coach spoken for?
I believe this one is not either. I believe this one is available, 1425. And I just sent the other day all of the files of what's going to be installed in this coach, including this floor that we're looking at, to a customer who's very interested in making this their Marathon.
And this is a triple slide.
Yes, and I wish we could go into the back and show you, but of course, because they're doing the floor, you know.
And they're gonna have to check out Marathon Mondays with Mal on Marathon's YouTube channel here. Well, that'll be in the description below, but you'll probably have some videos on this coming soon.
Oh yes, every coach gets the video treatment. There's always beautiful photos, and we always do videos. This is a coach you're gonna love seeing.
Yeah, well, we still got a lot of really cool stuff to show the folks around here. Let's keep taking a walk through the factory.
Okay.
Here. Now this is a huge slide room here, and it looks like they're working on it already.
This is Coach 1425's front salon slide. And if you take a look at everything that is already set up, it's kind of like, I describe it sometimes as a Lego process. Basically, everything is installed. In about a few days, they're gonna lift this up and put it right in where that scaffolding was, where you and I were just standing, and they're gonna put it in. This is, of course, the dinette with the expandable dinette seating. This is the salon sofa right here, and all of these Prevost windows here with the dinette upper. But it's really neat to be able to see they do production on the slide out room down here on the floor, and then they put it right into the coach.
And I've got to compliment how bright that puck lighting is.
Yeah.
I'm counting like probably close to 10 lights in the slide room, and extremely bright out here.
Yes, lighting is one of the things that Marathon does quite well. We have an engineer that works just on lighting. I think we have 18 engineers here at Marathon, And having an engineer that focuses and primarily works just on lighting is really one of the things where they get to fine tune on every single coach, not just lighting like these puck lights, which are direct lights, but the indirect lighting, which, as you know, is so important to the ambiance of the coach.
How do they put it on like a forklift?
Yes, that's exactly it. And it's pretty fun to watch. They have a whole safety team that's out there with them too, and the whole team helps. They get it all plugged in because you have to get it plugged into the actual slide-in mechanism, and then they roll it in.
And these are Prevost slides?
Correct.
And, you know, talking about Prevost here, if we can kind of pan back towards the coach, here we see that Prevost structure. Usually this is going to be covered up on a finished coach.
Correct.
But I'm standing completely under the slide room here, all kinds of headroom. But
yes.
What goes into this part of the coach typically?
Well, it depends on the application. So in some of the coaches underneath here, there's a whole fender that clips onto here. A lot of times batteries go here, and I believe in this coach the battery setup is on the curb side of this coach, as you and I are standing on the driver's side. Sometimes it's just access, as you can see in here, and it literally, that fender clips in here and then it clips along the middle of the two wheels.
And I'm sure there's a lot of thought that goes into weight distribution,
oh, for sure,
where those batteries are placed, and I could see by being on top of the drive axle, that's probably the best place to put a heavy weight load.
Yes, and it's really important to note on that we have engineers that work on that. They not only work with Prevost to make sure that we're doing things safely and correctly, but they work with owners. What do the owners need and want? Weight is always a factor with coaches. I mean, this is something you know from being around the industry for so long. Weight is something that owners really consider, not just their tow vehicle and their trailer or whatever they're doing, but inside their coach. And they really want to minimize, or depending on the application, maximize where they're putting certain things. Do I need a barbecue? Do I want this? Everything is weight considered.
I know back, 20 plus years ago, Marathon was the first that I remember where you could run the AC unit off of the inverter,
right,
with regular AGM batteries, and that was 20 years ago.
Still the same. With our inverter process, is something you and I were just talking about, is with the twin 4000 inverters, the process is really nice to be able to utilize all of our AC Select system. So basically you've got 4 air conditioners on the roof, and with the AC Select, you could select which ACs are working at what time.
Yeah, so how many ACs are you able to run while you're going down the road without turning your generator on?
2.
Yeah, that'll really keep you cool.
It really will.
And then the alternator will be able to charge those batteries and keep those charged up.
That is correct.
You don't have to worry about them running down the batteries while you're going down the road?
That is correct. And if you're in a scenario where you want all your ACs on, turn on your generator.
Yes, sir.
Now,
if someone is, maybe somewhere where they don't want to run the generator for whatever reason, and they're not going down the road, can you still run an AC or 2 off of the inverters?
Absolutely, and that's why the system is so robust and so well put together. Our engineering team has designed that, and they've actually worked for many, many years in the R&D department to make sure that it's robust and stands up. If you're in a scenario where you can't run your generator, you've got that AC Select system where you can select air conditioning to run off the inverter process.
Yeah, Marathon Coach was way ahead of its time to be able to offer
yes,
that technology. And I think there's some misconceptions out there that folks need lithium batteries to be able to run the AC without the generator, but
no,
not the case. Marathon's been doing it for over 20 years.
No, we haven't. The thing with next gen batteries or lithium battery, we see that the bulk of our customers, and I mean most of our customers, they don't even utilize that system, the lithium system, if they had it in a coach. They prefer the AGM batteries over lithium. Our customers don't do a lot of boondocking. Most of our customers plug in.
Or you've got that 20 kW generator.
That's exactly right. Yeah, our PowerTech 20 kW generator is fantastic and really can power the whole coach.
I've always been really impressed with the Marathon Coach cabinetry.
Yes.
You mind showing us? I know there's somewhere around here where
Let's
it's all
go.
happening. Let's find it.
Let's go. As we move from the main production floor into cabinetry, one of the things that always stands out, and a lot of customers love to see this, is everything here along this wall is set to go in a coach. Like, here's the bathroom rear wall for coach 1429. All of these things are out here and ready to be applied. Our cabinet shop is one of the heartbeats of the coach. And we spend so much time building custom furniture in the coach, but it's really neat to see all of these parts here ready to go into a coach.
I've been in a few cabinet shops in my day, but this is extremely impressive. And it keeps going here. You guys have a lot going on here.
Take a look at just a part like this. Feel how heavy this is not.
Yeah, wow, I would have,
Right?
I grabbed it with 2 hands, but I could probably get away with just a couple fingers.
Exactly.
Here. Yeah.
And this is a part that really shows a lot of work and a lot of detail. This part is designed upstairs with our engineers, and it's cut on our CNC machine, and then it is built right here. And this is literally ready to be applied into a coach. And there's several different woods that are included in here, whether it be apple woods, which are heavier but stronger, and there's balsa blends that is still very strong but lighter weight. So it all depends on the application of the wood. Does it need to be heavy? Does it need to be light? Does it need to be strong? So you have all kinds of different woods that we work, and that actually is going to be put into Coach 1426 on the driver's side. It's actually the upper part, right above the cockpit.
Yeah, and I'm always so impressed the way Marathon does the rounded edges. They'll have like a cabinet door that's rounded, and then it'll perfectly match the countertops. The amount of work to have the doors match, the bulkhead walls. Is there special machines you have here that do that? Or?
Absolutely. Come on this way. I'm going to show you the special machines that we have. This is also another really nice thing. These are parts that are going to be applied into coaches, and you can see 1430, 1426, 1428. The process that we have here of organizing all of this is very important to the flow and success of our production facility.
I can't believe the scale of
know.
this shop. I mean, how many square feet is your cabinet shop alone?
I'm not sure on the cabinet shop. I know that the building in its complete is just over 150,000 square feet. So it's a massive building, and right in the center of the building, and the bulk of that is the cabinet shop, as you can see. And we literally have people that are specializing in little parts to large parts when it comes to cabinetry. It's not just that. We build our sofas, custom sofas, right down here. These parts are cut here, they're put together, and then they go up to the upholstery team so that they can actually make the sofa out of the skeleton of that sofa.
We were just talking about rounded edges.
Yes.
I mean, this, if we can get a close-up of this, just incredible. And then I see this looks like a bathroom vanity there.
Yeah, this is a very good example of a lot of different woods coming together and a lot of different skills that went into building this piece alone. This is the bath vanity for Coach 1429. And you see everything from contoured edges to pivots and locations that move into different other pieces. And there's a lot going on this. But Andrew, you bring up this, and this weighs about the weight of an iPad. It's very, very well done from a standpoint of having several different woods going together, and you see apple wood there, balsa blend there. Some woods need to be strong and lightweight, some woods need to be strong and a little bit heavier to make sure that the piece has longevity and strength. And this is actually the driver's console for Coach 1430.
Oh, yeah, that'll last decades and decades.
For sure. And that's and one of the things that I'm really proud of our process that we do here is this has already been laminated. This is the exposed portion. This is going to be solid surface here. This piece down here is going to be applied to the floor. This is what's going to be exposed in the finished product. It's already been laminated with the color of the walls. Now, it's got a protective coating on it, which is just a piece of tape, really. But one of the things that we do here on a production floor is we make sure that this piece is going to be pristine when it comes to delivery. So at the end, you spend a lot of time peeling this completely off after it's been applied in Coach 1430. But I really am proud that we take the time to cover it up to make sure that that piece stays really nice.
It's amazing how much thought goes into just this tiny little piece.
No doubt, no doubt. There's a lot that goes in, and this is just it. That's why we have that CNC machine. All of these parts that go into this, in this piece alone, I see screws, I see glue, and I see staples. And that is 3 different processes of applying this to keep it together, and it depends on what it needs And I think our engineering team does a very good job of deciding what it needs. Does it need just glue? Does it need to be screwed? Does it need to be stapled? It depends on what it needs. And that's part of the process of utilizing our history, is what works best for the coach and what works best for the part.
Yeah, and how many coaches have you built total at Marathon Coach?
Well, we're holding Coach 1430's driver's console. So, you know, with the exception of skipping a few of those numbers, we've built or building Coach 1430. So, you know, 1,430 minus a few. We have built more on the Prevost chassis than anyone in the industry. One of the things that I'm really proud about is the people that are in this building have so much experience when it comes to building several different floor plans at once. I can pick out 6 different floor plans for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 11 coaches on this production floor right now, and I know of at least 6 different floor plans that are on this floor right now.
Yeah, and you guys are the only ones doing a 2 full bath with 2 shower Prevost.
You better believe it.
That's
a
awesome
cool
coach.
Coach 1407, absolutely cool.
And if someone wants to custom build a brand new one, that's something you guys can do?
They need to talk to Mal.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Perfect.
One of the things, Andrew, that really stood out when we were building a custom coach for a family was they were walking through here with me and we were looking at all of the numbers, and then they saw their coach and they had their kids with them and they were like, oh, this is so cool to be able to see this is what's going to be in our coach before it gets installed. And they literally pulled out a Sharpie and the kids signed their names and a little message to themselves inside the wall, knowing that it was not going to be an exposed surface, but behind the walls of their bunk beds, they now have their signature to themselves, which I thought was a really cool thing. It's part of what we do here, making people's dreams come true, and these kids will always know that their signatures are behind the walls of their coach. Yeah, it's just a really neat thing to show.
I can imagine that's got to be really exciting to dream up a coach and then watch it be built, and to be able to come here to the factory and watch it all come together.
Absolutely. And so they're out there on the road enjoying it, and they get to come here and see this part's going to be in my coach, you know, and it's just really, it was really a neat moment.
Now I see some mirrors getting cut up here, and about 20 years ago, I think every Marathon coach had a diamond mirror pattern in the ceiling. You guys don't do quite as many mirrors as you did about 20 years ago.
Thank goodness we don't.
Hey,
like we talked about earlier, the trends change.
Yeah.
And so as you saw Landon here cutting a mirror for, I think that's going to go on the back of a closet door over here in service. Here in this shop, we can cut our own glass, our own mirrors, and our own acrylic right in here. And so as you can see, Landon cut this piece. He's going to get it all cleaned up, and then he's going to go apply it to a coach over in our service department.
Now this is just a rectangle, but if someone wants to get real creative, because I remember, I mean, the diamond patterns of those, there were some beautiful Marathon ceilings back in the day.
Yes.
Are you guys able to do those crazy designs still?
Absolutely. It's still something that we do. It's something that also, like, let's say someone has one of those designs in their ceiling from a previous coach or from a coach that's pre-owned, we can repair those. So it's definitely something we do. If someone says, hey, I want a mirror, but I want it longer, we could do it in a matter of minutes, as you saw Landon doing right there.
Now, what about if they want to go the other way and they're not as much of a fan of mirrors as folks used to be, and they want to have those maybe reupholstered?
Good point.
Is that something that can be done?
Absolutely. You can take those mirrors down and you can leather wrap them, or we can, to even lighten up the ceiling, and I mean lighten up from a weight standpoint, don't put the mirrors back up, even though the mirrors on the ceiling are acrylic, they're not actual glass.
Okay.
They're actual, like a mirrored acrylic. Basically, isn't that right, Landon?
Correct.
Thank you. They're not, we wouldn't want to put glass above your head, but
yes, sir.
Basically what you do is you take those down, you wrap them in leather or another fabric and put them right back up. You're retaining the original style of the ceiling, but you're eliminating that glitz of having a mirrored or a frosted mirror ceiling.
Acrylic offers the same look as a mirror, essentially.
Okay, cool. Excellent. And Landon, who's been very experienced here at Marathon, he knows a lot of those coaches. He's seen a lot of coaches over the years. So,
Landon, can I ask how long you've been with Marathon Coach for?
26 years.
26 years, wow. And this was not scripted. That's just random. Yeah. Nice to meet you, sir. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, you know, and that's a theme you're going to see. This right here is the heartbeat of our building, is our staff. And I love that you asked him how long he's been here, because, you know, he's been in the desert supporting coaches down there. He's here in our service department, very skilled. When someone comes in and they say, I want to change my bays. I want to change the laminate color. Last week, as he left the room, but last week, I watched that guy change laminate colors on a dinette. Just absolutely talented. And it's really cool to be able to see them do that every day.
And I can imagine all the wisdom he has being with Marathon that long. I mean, 2.5 decades, that's a long time.
When we walk through our service department, you will see there are guys like Landon that have been there over 3 decades. So it's really cool to see.
He didn't flinch for the cameras, too. He kept working, didn't miss a beat. They're used to you.
He knows.
Sir. You've got an incredible team of craftsmen here, but you also have some awesome machines to help these guys get the job done.
Yes, this CNC router is such an amazing machine. It allows us to do so many different applications in the coach. And we were talking about that earlier. It's not just the cabinetry, but we have the ability to make our own furniture. And you'll see that later up in our upholstery shop. But this machine is such a blessing to have, because we build so many coaches and so many different aspects of that coach are done on that router. So many of the different parts that you'll see here in our cabinet shop, they're engineered upstairs, they come down here, they're cut on the router, and then those parts are literally built into a piece of cabinetry. In fact, like this. Andrew, take a look at this. Here's a piece. Every single one of these pieces was cut on this router, put together, and then, as you see, it has started the lamination process with the colors that are installed on there.
Yeah, now I'm noticing these notches here in the wood. What's the reasoning for these notches?
A very good question. Some of the notches are for different things, but some of them are an application for relief of weight. One of the things that our engineering team has really done well is they've developed a way to reduce the weight on the coach by reducing the weight on each different piece. And it's really a testament to their time and effort to find where they can cut relief out of each piece and reduce the weight of this piece, which reduces the overall weight of the coach.
But without sacrificing the structure, because I know it's got to have the right, strength in the right area.
Thank you for pointing that out. Just because you're cutting relief or you're taking relief pieces out of solid surfaces like on countertops, it doesn't reduce the strength or the longevity of the product. You still have that, but relief is really, when you cut relief pieces like this, it really allows you to reduce the overall weight of the product.
It's amazing how much thought goes into these coaches. We see the beautiful finishes and we're thinking about how pretty the floors are and all of that, but weight distribution is extremely important, like you were talking about earlier. And there's a lot of thought that goes into every square inch. And I'm sure weight balance is very important as well.
It really is. In our research and development team, they really spend a lot of time of, okay, it's good, but can it get better? And in what ways can it get better? And some of those ways that it can get better is simply reducing the weight. And so that's one thing that you see in a part like this. One of the things that really stands out is I come in every day off that parking lot and I come right in here and I walk to my office from this angle. And I interact with these two gentlemen in this department. This is the underbelly department. There's so much pride they have in simply saying, this is bragging rights. This is another way of saying to the entire building, we know what we're doing. One of the things that got pointed out when we were talking about this before we started rolling with the cameras is they're not perfect, but they're aiming to be perfect. And I think that always stands out. And I love seeing the pride that they have. And it's not just the certificate, it's the pride that people know this is a well-run team here so that they don't have a lot of concerns.
Now I see on these plaques it says 0 audit concerns, underbelly department. What do they do in this department to be able to earn one of these plaques?
We have to go through and make sure all the seams are correct, all the screws are in, all of the door reveals are within minimum standards. The cabinets are all square, plumb. There's times we have to make changes on cabinets. There's times we have to take things out things are added, but it's all a point of we have to get back to the point where it's perfect. When we have a 30-second reveal, it's 30-second all the way around, top, bottom of those doors. When the grain matches, it has to match. It can't be an eighth of an inch off. It's got to be perfect.
And he brings up a good point, the grain matching. When I started here at Marathon, it's something I had to learn about. And I learned from these guys, from this team, what is grain matching? Because I didn't know. I know what it is on a baseball bat, coming from being a baseball player, but grain matching on cabinetry is something that's so important, and it takes time and effort and artistry to do that. And this is just one of the groups of gentlemen that work on our production floor that do that. When we see something that's right, great. But when we see something that's wrong, we let them know, whether it be our team or someone else's responsibility, because everybody comes together to build the coach. Getting a certificate like the ones behind us from our quality control team, that means when these coaches went through quality control, and it's not just the QC team, after quality control, our senior staff does a senior walkthrough of every single coach. And they look, and we're talking about from our owner down to the head of our sales team, Mike LeBrosser. They're looking at things, is it Marathon quality? And these guys catch it before our senior staff catches it. These guys catch it before our quality control team catch it. And I think this is what makes Marathon so wonderful, is people like this that I get to work with every day.
Yeah, and I've seen some of your guys work out on the road. It's incredible to see the finished product, and I really got to tip my hat to you guys, what you guys do. And also, what you guys do with the bays, the different outdoor kitchens and all of the cool stuff.
Yes.
You guys go over the top in your bays.
You know, we really, really do, and each coach is different. Some people want this, and some people want that, and then another person's gonna want this. It's incredible, and you're absolutely right to bring that up. And when I come in off that parking lot and head to my office, 9 times out of 10, I'm stopping in here because I see something unique. And usually on Mondays, I'm like, there is a subject for Marathon Mondays, because I see something unique. Our bays are second to none. And we put together some of the most creative things that are not just creative for the reason of being creative, but things that applications in the bellies that really, really work to enhance the ownership of that coach. And it's a testament to what these guys do.
Absolutely. Is there any specific coach bays that really stick out to you guys?
Absolutely. I really love what we just did on 1420. 1420 is a great example of someone who has owned 3 marathons. Every coach down the line, they said, I like this, but we can do it better. Or I like this, but I didn't use that. Now here we are on their 3rd, coming from 1412 to 1370 to 1420 now. And in 1420, we captivated barbecues with refrigerators and proper storage, pressure washers with the right length of tube, and how many wands do you need? And where do we properly put all of the tips for that pressure wand? Airing up my tires. These tires hold a lot of PSI. So do I need a doubler? Yes, you need this, you need that. You know, do I need a deionizer, something that's near and dear to your heart? You know, certain things like that. And that's something that really stands out, is what we just did on Coach 1420. You've got slide out trays with barbecue and refrigerator and cabinetry, but also you need storage. And the way that these guys, just simply where we put the Marathon chairs, where we put the Marathon welcome mat, it's aesthetically beautiful, and it's functional, and it's out of the way, and it's not taking up additional storage. I could go on for days on this stuff, but you guys do such a great job. And I mean, I love talking about what my coworkers do.
You guys do amazing work here, so really great to meet you guys here.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks, you
Awesome.
guys.
Boom.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Nice to meet you guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You and I are about to leave this area, and this stood out to me. This is something that no one's ever going to see. It's a shelf for Coach 1425, and it's going to fit in like this. It's very lightweight. Feel that.
Yeah, and just, very high-end material that it's wrapped in.
This is a great material. It's a synthetic. I mean, a lot of people in the industry use this, but it's a synthetic that's based on real leather. It's scratch-proof. It's very washable. What really stands out to me every time I look at a piece like this in our coaches or here on the production floor is how well and how much time we take to wrap each corner properly.
And that's just a shelf inside of a kitchen cabinet?
That's exactly right. This is actually, it's not in a kitchen. It's going to be in a bedroom shelf, and it's something that people don't see except the owners. And it's just so well done. The edges are so clean. The way that we have wrapped this piece of wood in this synthetic leather stands out to me as someone really took their time on this production floor and had to do it multiple times. Look at that. And that's just for one coach in one cabinet. And that's what it takes, someone specializing in a skill of wrapping these shelves, hence the fact that we have over 200 people here working, doing this kind of work. I just love showing that because it is such a skill. I can't do that. I can't even wrap a Christmas gift. So,
yeah, they're doing it to precision, and they're doing a lot of it. Now, is there a standard amount of man hours that goes into a marathon coach build, or any kind of range? I can only imagine how much time goes
there
into
is a
these
range.
builds.
I mean, complexity of project depends on the hours that go into that project. So, a coach could take 8,000, a coach could take 12,000. It just depends on the complexity of the project. It also depends on, is it a double slide? Is it a triple? Is it a quad? What's the paint like? So a lot of different factors go into how many hours at the end of the day, at the end of production, what that coach took to build.
We've still got a lot to show the folks around here. I think we should stay moving. Yeah.
Let's go.
So what's all going on in here?
So in this area, this is our fabrication shop. When it comes to fiberglass and fabrication, it's one of the blessings of this building. We have the ability to do our own fiberglass work, whether it be repairs or actual pieces that we need for the coach. Roof caps, bumpers, repairs. So if someone gets in a fender bender, they come in, we can do those repairs for them right here. It's an auto body shop right here in Marathon's building.
And I'm always impressed with the way you do the front and rear caps of the coach.
Yes.
The way they put those kind of metal strips, they remind me of pinstripes through those front caps.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Really cool design.
I love it, yeah. Being able to do these type of items here, we control also the creativity of it. And so over the years, we've done different roof caps, we've done different fenders. We even build our own cockpit dashboards in here. So the dashboards are designed by our engineering and design team. Then they come down here and we build them here. And then we can also wrap them with the leather after building them basically out of fiberglass.
Yeah, then you're keeping all the quality control in-house, so not relying on any third parties.
That's exactly right. And if a part needs tweaking, it's all done right in here. It's nice to have Mike here, our fiberglass guy, and from a repair standpoint too, we don't have to take it outsourced.
That's a huge benefit for Marathon Coach owners to have that resource. If something does happen, God forbid, they've got the right place to get it back to factory.
Absolutely, it's all done right here in the building. It can be repaired here and go literally 10 feet from here into the paint booth and be taken care of.
I saw one paint booth over here, but did you say there's 4 paint booths here at
There's
Marathon?
4 main paint booths. So 4 60-footers.
Wow.
So we're gonna actually go through our fabrication shop and I'm gonna show you into these paint booths. And I wanted to talk a little bit about fabrication because
what's all going on over here? A lot of metal here.
Yes, this is our steel racks. We have the resources here within the building to fabricate our own applications in the coach, but not only in the coach. And one of the things I really want to point out is the infrastructure of our production floor. Those scaffoldings that get pulled into the coaches, we take the slide rooms out and then we roll in that scaffolding. Those scaffoldings are literally built right here in Marathon. They're designed by our team and they are built by our fabricators here. It's really nice to have that resource within the building of having a full fabrication shop here so we can build things. And that's truly part of the customization of a Marathon coach is when someone says, can you? We say, absolutely, we can. And that's another thing. We control it all in-house. It's really nice to have.
So what are some of the things that owners would want custom done in their marathon coach that you'd need all this steel to fabricate?
It could be something very simplistic, or it could be, you know, our R&D team sees the need for something like, just to give you an example, extra brackets or additional brackets need to be applied in a certain bay. Or someone comes to us, say, hey, I really want this with barbecue and refrigerator. We can fabricate something that's robust and will last. And so does it need to have extra bracing? Absolutely. So we basically fabricate a way of making something really stand tall and stand long, like that barbecue that we saw down on Coach 1423. There's a lot of weight in there. There's a lot of significant pieces that go to it, and it really needs to have something that's going to be strong and last long. And so we can fabricate something that's going to help it last.
And you were mentioning earlier that sometimes when they're fabricating stuff out of steel, that they'll notch out little parts to keep weight down.
Yes.
Is that something that, you know, like these steel pieces, they would do that with?
It depends on the application, but yes, it's definitely something that can be done. So on this tubular steel, if this is an exposed surface, but the backside is not, you could cut relief in that if it's not something that needs the extra strength. When it comes to steel, you really don't want to cut too much relief because the steel is designed to be strong for a reason. So when it comes to weight cutting, you can go with a thinner walled item if you need to save or reduce weight.
Yeah, I can imagine there's a lot of thought that gets put into all of these little details on stuff that most people will never see.
No doubt, no doubt. And you know, having the ability to do it when we're building a coach and someone says, hey, I need a bracket for this. The customer wants something in their audio-visual setup that is not standard for marathon, which by no means are any of these coaches really standard, but they have an application that they need. We bring it down here. My man, Paul Farnsworth, who has been doing our fabrication for over 30 years, will come in and he will design something for the production floor and say, will this work? And they're like, yes, but it needs to be like this. Or, you know, he works with our engineering team to get things like that correct. Paul's one of those guys that says, yes, let me figure out how to get it done. And that's the creativity of a guy like that. And having this ability here and all of that inventory of all the steel allows a guy like that to be able to come up with a fix or a remedy for an issue on the production floor. A lot of people want to put bicycles in the bays. Well, how do you do that? You got to do this. You got to take the fork off. You got to take the front wheel off, things like that. One of the things that Paul's been really good at is coming up with creative ways of fixing those problems.
Do you know how long Paul's been with Marathon Coach?
Paul, I think it's been 34 years. 34 years?
Yeah.
34 years.
34 years in January.
Man, that's awesome.
In January. And he's one of these guys that and one of the things I love to talk about is the heartbeat of this building. And upstairs we were talking about how many employees.
I counted on the wall.
Yeah.
I counted 68 employees that have been here longer than 10 years, and then a whole bunch of employees over 20 years.
Over 20 years,
I mean,
yeah.
it's
I think it was 26 employees have been here over 20 years.
And 68 over 10 years out of, I think you said 230 employees in this building?
Yes.
That's just incredible numbers that you just don't see very often.
It really is. And for someone like myself, I've been here 9 years. When I started, I was grabbing the ingredients for success from several people, like this guy right here, grabbing the ingredients, watching him work, bringing something to him and saying, Paul, how would you do this? And with his expertise, another thing this guy does that no one's going to tell you, can't anyone outcook that guy. He cooks for so many people around this place, you know, sets that barbecue out and starts hooking up the food. It's fantastic.
I saw you guys are having a salsa contest for Cinco de Mayo. A lot of cool stuff you guys do around here.
A lot of cool things. Morale building is a big part. When you have over 200 employees just at this facility, we have a lot of morale building things that go on, activities. We've done a few of them on social media for people to see, like on Marathon Mondays, but you know, everything from the pig contest, which is a basketball shootout contest. We have a punt pass kick, which is always fun. salsa. We have these contests throughout the year. The team building is very important because the team is very large and diverse. And so bringing everybody together during breaks and lunch for things like that definitely helps with us all being part of one team.
If you look at the length of employment around here, it's incredible. I mean, you can really tell the morale is very high around here.
It really is, and it's one of the things that I try to stay tuned in when I walk around, because I don't ever go to my office. I am walking this building a lot. I like to connect with employees from the north to the south at both east and west side of the walls, and I learn so much from them because, like I said earlier, I love representing them when I'm out there or when I'm on video, and so I like to know my coworkers. It's a big part of it.
Yeah, it's been really cool to meet some of the faces behind these incredible coaches here today.
Yeah.
You have some amazing people here. No, there's a lot of work going on back here. Can we check out what's going on here?
Let's go. So right now, this coach is being prepped for paint, and in this area right here, you can see that he's prepping this coach to get in for paint. He's basically sanding down all the surfaces so that we have a really good fine surface to put the Marathon paint on, and it's going to roll right into the booth here soon.
And I come from the detail world. I can tell he is not cutting any corners there. They're doing stuff the right way. He's sanding it right up to the edge. It'd be easy to get a little lazy, but these guys are the real deal back here.
They really are, and prep is so important to the success of the paint.
Yes, sir.
You know, anyone can just paint a surface, but prepping that surface to be successfully painted is so important.
Absolutely. So I know you guys have been doing some incredible stuff in your paint department here.
Yes.
Now, what's the latest and greatest going on in the paint world here at Marathon?
Well, I would probably defer that question over to Sarah Fiddler. Sarah's not just our head of marketing, but she's been designing a good portion of our paint jobs for the last 8 years. And this is Ryan Fox. Also want to introduce him to you. Ryan is our supervisor down here in our paint for our paint team. And you're absolutely right. Some of these paint jobs behind us are just a small portion of the amazing paint jobs that are coming out of here. I could talk about it all day, but I'm going to let these two talk about it. It's something I'm really excited about.
Yeah, some of the paint jobs on the wall behind us here are really attention grabbing. And we've seen the paint from Marathon Coach really evolve. We were talking about the old days of John Starr back in the 90s. Marathon's always been doing really cool stuff. But what was your first designs that you did, and was there an inspiration? And what's important to you when designing a paint job?
You know, I was lucky enough to join the team under the leadership of someone who had a ton of experience. So I really spent my first few years learning as much as I could from him. My first official new coach paint design was 1298. I was so excited to have it completed that the panel that we did for it is hanging in my house still to this day, because it was such a moment of accomplishment for me personally.
Yeah, and there's been about 120, 130 coaches since then. Have you designed all of those, or?
I've done half of them. So I think I'm right about, with pre-owned paint, I think I'm right about at 75 today, so.
Now, when you mentioned pre-owned, so you're not only designing new paint jobs, but are Marathon owners bringing in older coaches and having them repainted as well?
Absolutely. So something great about our facility here is that with service tied right into the production facility, the paint shop is able to serve both of those functions. So we've got access to the same great team, the same great materials, the same great equipment that we use to paint the new buses. So we are able to offer that to service clients as well.
Yeah, and is there any favorite designs, any coaches that have been coming through the pipeline lately that we should be excited about?
You know, it's funny you ask, because I have a hard time picking favorites. I'm excited about a few coming up. I really like 25. It's dark, it's moody, it's got some sage and some copper in there. But then on top of that, we do the exact opposite, and we've got 23 coming through, which is white and bright, and it has these black texture accents through it. So I think it's hard for me to pick a favorite. I think my favorite is just the fact that we can do all of that. We can design them super dark and moody. We can design them bright and energetic and sharp. And it's just the opportunity I have to do all of that for one company is just really outstanding here.
One of the things that I see is that, you know, Sarah helps design these things, but this department is so busy, and you mentioned this earlier, about coaches coming in for service, whether it be repairs, full repaints, or production. And this guy right here, Ryan, he does an amazing job of organizing all of those different aspects: production, repairs, reimaginings of paint jobs. People will grab a coach that's 20 years old and they'll say, I love it, but I wish that color was this color. Sarah will help them visualize the new color, and then Ryan organizes all that within this department.
I know there's a lot of work in getting the proper colors. Now, Ryan, how long have you been in the paint industry, and how did you get involved here with Marathon Coach?
I'm on my 15th year with Marathon Coach. I've been back 4 years with the paint side. I have a little bit of experience with the other side in production and stuff like that.
When you're designing the exterior paint job, are you working with the interior design team as well? Because I see a lot of these coaches, they really flow from the exterior to the interior. I could tell everything was coordinated. How does that whole process work?
I really like to match the neutrals. So if the inside of a bus is a warm, earthy taupe, we'll take that, and I've even flipped through my chip decks and found a taupe that matches the laminate exactly. We'll do that a lot to marry the style of the exterior with the style of the interior.
And I can imagine there's team meetings to make sure everybody's on the same page when designing these coaches.
Yes, absolutely. And when doing a custom coach, you get all of the aspects in there. You've got engineering, you've got the design team, you've got the exterior paint designer, you've got the head of paint, so that everybody makes sure that, hey, Sarah's designing it, but can we do it? That's where Ryan comes in to work with Sarah. So you've got lots of dynamics of departments working together. We can design anything, but can we do it? Or even better, should we do it? Is it safe? Is it right? Will it last? Is it going to be marathon quality? Speaking of these two here on my left, it's definitely one of the things I see quite frequently is their departments working together, of Sarah coming down. I'll give you an example. One of the things that I saw just the other day was these two collaborating on getting a color correct.
This was a repaint we had. A client purchased a new bus, brand new bus, and they already own a Marathon. And the bus they have has this particular blue that they're just so passionate about. It's a gorgeous color. And so they want that color on their new bus. So we've been working with them. I've been working with Ryan to really nail down what's the most cost-efficient way, but visually impactful way to incorporate that blue. So we came up with a design that works, that makes sense for the client, and it gets them that color. And then it came down to really making sure the color matched perfectly. So we sprayed a panel and we brought our chip from last year down just to make sure that it was exactly perfect, and it wasn't. So Ryan's team goes back and hits the books to figure out exactly what tweak they need, and it ended up perfect. It's gorgeous.
We ended up being able to dig into our old notes and found some chips with the notes on it. So
It's not a science, it's an art.
Yeah, matching paint colors and getting them perfect. I think it's a lot easier said than done, and especially with all of these new effects that we're starting to see in these Marathon paint jobs. Now, we've seen some incredible designs coming through Marathon Coach in the last several years. Is there any paint jobs that really stick out to you that were really a challenge for your team to execute, or any favorite paint jobs that you have?
the one with the American flag they really liked, and there was lots of detail to it, and they just knocked it out of the park.
What were some of the effects in that paint job that might have challenged your team?
Well, from a distance, that flag looks like it's fluttering.
Yes.
So it's got wrinkles and it's got shadows. You get up close and it's got stitching, and you're just like, wow. It really gives you that effect of being draped over the side of the coach, and it's just amazing.
And if I may, because this client came to us and they said, I don't want to wrap my coach. I want it painted. I have a September 11th tribute motorcycle, and I want the paint team to design me a coach that mirrors my passion on that motorcycle onto my new X3 Marathon. Sarah and the design team got together, they designed this thing. Ryan's team got together. You look at this thing, it's amazing. Ryan is exactly right. It looks like the flag is unfurling and flowing, and if you get close, you see stitches, and it's incredible. And the eagle on the front, I'm glad you brought that up, Ryan, because that is an amazing way of describing the talent of this team.
Yeah, I haven't seen that coach in person, but definitely looking forward to seeing some photos of that. Now, as we're standing here talking, There's a sample behind us with the Marathon Coach logo.
It's like the Marathon logo is punching through the paint job. I think
Yeah.
this is Coach 1333. That coach is still real prevalent down in the desert, and it's a beautiful double slide H3, but that is on the back side of Coach 1333.
Yeah, I can imagine that challenged you and your team, Ryan, to pull that off.
Oh yeah. They had a lot of fun doing that too.
I'll tell you another thing that comes up is they'll bring items from their home or their farm, and they'll say, hey, this fence post is from my farm. Can you integrate this into my paint job? It's so personal for people. One of the things that I say to customers is, not everybody gets to go inside your coach. Your friends, your family, guests that you might invite to go inside your coach, they get to see your bedroom. They get to see your water closet. Everybody sees your exterior. It is your calling card. It is the piece that you're sharing with everybody. And I don't want to understate this. It's one of the most important factors of buying a coach, owning a coach, and literally customizing a coach. And we do that so well and so custom in this building. The skill and talent is incredible.
You guys are building over 20 coaches a year, so to come up with this many different designs and have so many cool variations, and we never know when one of you out there is going to order a new Marathon coach and what kind of inspiration you'll have for Sarah and Ryan and the team. So always looking forward to seeing what's coming through the pipeline here.
One of the things that I really want to show you is where it all starts. And I mean, quite frankly, it starts with our engineering team. So let's go check that out.
I think upstairs you said there's a few offices up there?
Oh, there's a ton going on up there. So let's go.
This is quite the view from the staircase here overlooking the production line here.
It really is. And this is something that you're able to see so much going on and so many people specializing in different aspects of the production facility. But let's go check out engineering.
You guys got a lot of photographs on the walls here, some pretty famous marathons over the years, it looks like.
Absolutely, and one of the things is these pictures are really designed to help inspire people on whether it be their interiors or their exteriors, or even to visualize floor plans. And we have them all throughout. Our marketing team designs these all throughout this upstairs area. As we go through here, we go right into engineering, and this is where all of these designs get created. Before it gets on the production floor, before it goes to the CNC router, it's all designed up here. We have people that really specialize in different areas. Plumbing engineers, we've got audiovisual engineers, we've got electrical engineers, and we have project leads, and everybody comes together to build the coach.
Well, and I can imagine the proximity of this office to the production line. If there's any questions, I'm sure there's an open line of communication between the engineers and the production managers downstairs.
Oh, it's constant, absolutely. And a lot of these engineers have been here for many, many years. Something that, a theme that we've been talking about all day today through this tour is the longevity and the expertise of our team. And in this room, we have a lot of years of experience.
Yeah, there's an incredible amount of wisdom in this room, and I can imagine all of the challenges that the owners put ahead of you. You've got the right team to make it happen.
Yeah, we really do. There's a lot of people in here with a lot of experience, and so that experience is applied to each and every coach. It's really nice to see.
You said Bob's been working here for how many years?
35 years. Bob's been with Marathon.
35.
Yes.
Golden year.
Can I ask you real quick, just putting you on the spot, is there any favorite builds in your 35 years here? If there was one Marathon coach that really stands out, that really challenged you?
All this cool stuff in the underbelly, barbecues, TVs, and so forth. But he entertained out there. We have a small space, and it was a pretty big barbecue, so we had to limit some of the stuff that we typically do, move it over to a different bay, and so forth.
Really, this is one of the things that he's not going to talk about, but I'll talk about it. The creativity that comes out of Bob or Mark Williams or Jay Graham or some of our engineers, they've got that experience where they can recall from 20 years ago, from 35 years ago, and apply it to today's aspects of building a coach, with him talking about the bays and how personal that is to that group. It's important.
Yeah, that's really cool. Now, did you start in engineering here? What was your first position at Marathon?
Well, of course, it was 35 years ago. So I think I started in laminate, moved to Corian, project coordinator, which kind of takes care of the buses on the floor, and then came up here. but I did have a stint doing the NASCAR custom builds. So we did a lot of car haulers, kitchen, eating facilities on, and different kind of aspects to that.
Yeah, and I can imagine you learned a lot of lessons when you were down on the floor that probably helped with that communication between the engineering department and being on the floor there.
Definitely. Some of the things that get a little too complicated take too much time, or they're so difficult to build that we have to scrap it, move on, and that's a lot of time wasted, a lot of money, resources. So yeah. It helped quite a bit.
Well, we enjoy seeing these beautiful builds, so awesome to meet some of the faces behind the scenes here. So, yeah.
This room and someone like Bob is a great example of what I said earlier, saying yes and figuring out how to get it done. Bringing him a problem. And this department is so good, the engineering team is so good at not saying, well, Mal, you silly salesman, we can't do that. It's more like, yes, let me figure out how to get that done. I can't say enough about this team. They really, really do a good job at figuring out how to get it done.
I could count the no's on one hand.
Can you share any of the no's? Any of the things you had to say no to?
Well, for instance, a long time ago, somebody wanted a hot tub in there. And it's a little difficult with
lot
the
of
water
water
and everything, and not to mention trying to fill it every time you stop or whatever, or party or whatever. It's difficult. So those are the things we have to say no to.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah, it's a lot of water.
That's a lot of water.
So a lot going on in the upholstery shop here. This is where it all happens?
This is where it all happens, and this is one of my favorite things. Let's go over here because John Farley, who's been with Marathon 29 years, when we talk about artistry and attention to detail, upholstery is it, and I love this.
Now, John, how long have you been working in upholstery here at Marathon, or did you start in upholstery? Or?
Yeah, I've been in at Marathon 29 years.
Wow.
But I've been in the upholstery industry for 54 years.
Wow.
I started out right after high school.
And your upholstery here at Marathon, Coach, is world renowned for being at the top of the industry. What do you guys do different here that makes the upholstery so special?
Basically, we just do what the customer wants. The customer wants a certain design, that's what we do.
Is there any crazy color combinations or any interior colors that really stick out to you?
No, not really. We do a lot of different colors and variations. So it's not unusual.
Well, this sofa behind you, Andrew, this really stands out.
We don't do that very often. That's a semi-attached cushion. They want to look like cushions. That's kind of a unique one.
And what all do you guys upholster here? Seats, sofas, valances. What all do you guys upholster?
We do all the balances, the window styles. We upholster the pilot seats that come in. You can kind of see back there how they get started. They got the air, and we put the vibrators in them, the massage units, but this got air and heat in them too. We do all the balances and the recliners. We do all the recliners in-house. It just depends what color the customer wants or what interior design.
Even the cockpits, don't you guys do the cockpits,
we do
Sean?
The whole cockpit area.
Yeah, so all the dash panels
All
and
the
all
dash
those little
panels,
pieces?
All the window post covers are done by us. We put the ceiling in. We go down and put it in the coach.
In your 50 plus years of doing upholstery, Marathon is at the top level of quality. What is it about the way you do things in the upholstery shop that really take your quality to the top of the food chain?
Well, I think the material we use, the leather we use, most of it comes from Italy and Brazil. Italy leather to me, is the top of the line. Spinneybeck and Townsend leather. It's very, very high quality leather. And we do almost everything in leather, very little vinyl. We expect very high quality from all our employees too. The sewing, my lead seamstress is very, very picky about her quality and what we do.
Yeah, and it's incredible when we see these coaches come together and how refined all of the stitching, not only the materials that you're using, but there's not a lot of room for error. I know your owners have the highest level of expectations. Is this stuff all done by hand or machine, or how do you guys get everything, so straight and so tight?
It's the experience of my seamstresses, and stitching, if something goes wrong, we have to do it over. We don't like doing that.
I know your owners have the highest level of expectation, so everything's got to be done perfect around here.
It all starts with the employees and their standards, and all the people here have very high standards.
And I think that's a good point, John, that you bring up that we really haven't touched on yet is everybody in this building has free reign to bring up to supervisors or to others, not just supervisors, but to say, hey, I'm not happy with how this turned out. I'd like to redo it. Or to bring something to John and say, John, it's completed, but I see something that is not up to our standards or not Marathon quality. And I think we have a very open, I'm going to use it as an open door policy kind of idea, where people will do that from the production floor to paint to upholstery to design to engineering. They're very free to say, this is not right. Let's get it right.
We get leather in, we lay that out on the table and we check it because some leather has brands and scars in it. And we got to make sure we don't get any of that. We check everything out very thoroughly before we use it.
And one of the things that I saw when I first got started and I was kind of shadowing different departments was in the upholstery, John was showing me and Alan Christensen was showing me hand and what it means to literally feel the leather, touch the leather, look at the grain. Is it consistent? And I remember several years ago, John, you refusing a order that came in because it was not up to your standard to use.
Yeah, we've done that. We've refused it and sent it back. That's why I like the Italy leather. It's almost perfect leather that we get. It makes my job easier.
Yes, sir. Well, I've been admiring all of your upholstery work for several years, so really cool to meet you and your team and see some of the faces behind these beautiful machines here.
Another thing we do all the wallpaper too. We put all the wallpaper in. The wallpaper department is very, very picky too of what we do.
I know these Marathon coach owners, they want everything perfect.
That's right.
That makes sense.
So one of the things that really stood out as the two of us were over there talking with John, this is an entry door as you can see, and there's so much going in here. We were looking at this earlier of this contour here. This is the raw wood door. It's heavy but not ridiculously heavy. And then what happens is the upholstery team wraps it in the leather, and this is just the first stage of what they get to do to it. And everything has to be completely correct. Imagine trying to bring this leather on here and get every surface flat with no wrinkles. I would assume this is very difficult.
This isn't the door, but kind of the face of the door.
That is correct.
And then there's going to be a backlit Marathon Coach logo.
There is, as you can see,
in the bottom of the door as well.
As you can see in the very bottom there, there's that oval. That's where the Marathon backlit logo goes. So when you open the door, that lights up. But also it's got a lot of indirect lighting around this panel here.
And one thing when we see a completed coach, I like the way that your boxes cover the windows so when the blinds come down, there's no light coming through the blinds even on a bright day.
Absolutely.
Not very many motorhomes out there can say that.
Right.
When someone's ready to design their brand new Marathon coach, this is where it all starts?
This is really where it all starts. And this is, in my opinion, one of the most important aspects for the customer experience here at Marathon, because they get to come in here and work with the designers, literally designing from top to bottom, front to back, their coach.
Jamie, you're one of the people responsible for the designs here?
Yes, I love my job and I get to hang out with all of our customers and design their dream coaches.
Yeah, so how does the whole design process start when someone custom orders a coach? Where does it start with you?
Well, usually Mal will call me, and usually it's with a what up. And then, yeah. And then he tells me he's got a customer and usually gives me a little feedback. They have like a form they go through, kind of gives us a little ideas about things so we can get it going. Then they email us and we kind of get that rolling. Then they come in here. We've got some things set out for them usually. Like if they tell me they like white countertops or I really love a subway tile, kind of get those pieces put together for them. And then we work together in creating their coach. And sometimes it's just all online even too, which is really fun.
And Jamie's exactly right. You know, sometimes her designs start with just one piece of inspiration or one coach. I love Coach 1367 with a little bit of 1322 mixed in. And Jamie will grab and go and help advise that customer on what's really going to work best for them. And so there's a lot of skill in that.
I can imagine the Marathon coach owners have the highest level of expectations.
Oh yes, yeah.
Now, is there any particular designs that really challenged you or some of your favorite designs?
I think one of the more challenging ones we just finished was 1420, which is a lot of fun. I like it when there's a challenge because it makes it exciting.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
Yes.
The coach has come up a couple times
It has.
today.
Yes.
So.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
extremely custom and everybody came together on that project and it's wonderful.
Yeah, that customer, she loved this frog. And so we incorporated that into her waterfall design in the shower. So I put a little Easter egg in there so that it took them a little bit to find it. And then they're in there like, the frog's right there. So it was a ton of fun. But things like that, I really enjoy doing things like that. And then we did that inlay, the floor inlay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yes, and I think I've mentioned that to you before, but while we're standing here in this room, you know, the customer brought a pillow and said, you put this fabric in my current coach, I absolutely love it. What can you do with it? And we did a floor inlay, a mosaic tile that was custom made for this project. And it's literally the fabric pattern in a mosaic tile. Absolutely stunning.
Wow. So the tile and the fabric are matching?
That is correct.
They match perfectly.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible. I've never heard of that happening.
Oh, this is the fabric. This was the inspo that we gave. Alan made this to show our customers of like, this was the idea of the inlay. So,
So
this
that's the floor.
That's
Yes.
the fabric, and they went out and they found someone to make a mosaic tile, little tiny
They
glass
scanned
pieces.
this, and then-
Incredible.
yeah.
And there are videos on Marathon's YouTube page that illustrate the beauty and the complexity of that project. And this is just one aspect of that coach. Coach 1420 is a great example of everyone in this building coming together and all of the resources of this building building what the customer wants.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to link that video in the description below.
yeah.
But
Man.
I've got a couple more questions for you, Jamie. Now, working with all of these owners with the highest level of expectations, do you have any advice for someone if they're ready to pull the trigger on a new marathon coach and write that big check? What are some do's and don'ts of the design process?
Man, what a great question.
Yeah, I think it's good to have a idea of what you want. Find some pictures of some coaches that really speak to you, but also trust the designers as well, because we'll help you create your dream and make it your own as well.
Now, do you guys ever do spec coaches where, as a team, you guys kind of do the design?
Yeah, we do. Alan and I, we've done a couple designer's choice is what we call it. That goes from start to finish as just everything we've picked instead of having a customer on there. Sometimes you get a customer who jumps in, and it is fun to add a little bit of taste for them in there too. So mostly with the decor items, because it depends on where they come down the line with that, if things have been ordered. 1392, it was more of a farmhouse feel, and they were more of a rodeo kind of group, which is fun. So we got to kind of tailor that to them with the decor in there. So.
Yeah, Jamie brings up a good point. It's like these coaches that we've seen on our production floor, some of them are not spoken for yet. Some of them are not sold. They're already designed. The cake is in the oven, right? We're building this coach, but someone's going to come along and they're going to say, oh, I want that double slide H. I love so many different things about it, but I want to change these 8 things. And they'll come in here and they'll work with Jamie, they'll work with Alan, they'll work with Caitlin, and they'll come together and they'll say, can we do this? Can we do that? Can we change this? And this team has a really good ability to pivot. So yes, it's in production right now, but the customer coming in when it's got 4 months left in production or 6 months left in production, or it exists in a box like this and everything's been decided. Can we change this soft good? I prefer a different floor. This team is very good at finding an alternative that we can make happen.
Well, at this level, I think they want their cake, they want their ice cream, they want the
Yes.
cherry on top, they want it all here.
And they should get it too.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
We have coaches that come in that were just finished and they're like, I love this coach, but I really want to change these pillows here. We can do that. We can flip that around. Add, if they were doing blue, but they love green. We're currently doing that with 1418.
That's right.
They're putting blue in there. It was kind of more of a taupey feel in there. The other thing is if you don't come in too late down the road, you can change the fabrics as well if they haven't been ordered yet. And we're very flexible. Alan and I both like to work with people, and we want them to see their dream come true.
Now, is there any favorite coaches that the marathon team spec that you think are some of your favorite designs?
Oh, there's plenty. Off the top of my head, I love 1382 because that turned out to be such a fun one. And then 1422 just finished, and that is one of my favorites as well. It's nice and light and bright, kind of minimalistic feel, which you guys are going to go see later today.
We are. I'm so glad you brought that up. It is a beautiful coach, and one of the things I brought up to him, not necessarily about the interior, but I love the wheel package on it. I'm excited for you to see the interior of that coach.
Now this looks like a really cool project here with a really interesting picture. Was this kind of the inspiration for the design?
Yeah, so this was the North Dakota Badlands and South Dakota, they have those too. But I just really love the black and white feel of this. So I kind of tried to bring that in with, we're gonna have black cabinets. This is kind of a like more earth tone feels in here. It's gonna be a bunk coach, so we have some fun fabrics going in there. This is gonna be the inserts for the seats, so it's kind of got this pattern and it's also perforated, so heat cool.
Do you know what coach number this is?
1425.
1425. Now, that South Dakota, North Dakota Badlands inspiration, was that from an owner or was that in-house here?
It did start with an owner, and then they ended up going with a different coach number, and so I just wanted to keep rolling with it because I loved that idea and I thought it was really fun. And I know our paint department's really excited about it too because they're from there, so it's kind of a fun collaboration coach.
I spent 10 summers in South Dakota myself, so I look forward to seeing this come together.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah. Mel, when are you doing the full video on 1425?
Absolutely. I think this is one of the things where we'll be doing a full video at completion, but we're going to do not just the full Marathon Monday treatment, but we'll have a nice corporate video, and online it's just going to look fantastic. You know, with a lot of these coaches, I get excited about little things. This is one of those coaches that I cannot wait to see come all the way through.
Is this coach available or is it spoken
1425 is not spoken for. It is available. It's going to be one of our signature pieces. I mean, they're all beautiful coaches. I think the two of us are really excited about this project. So 1425 is still available, and I can't wait for everyone to see that completion video.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the YouTube video on Marathon Mondays with Mal. So definitely worth subscribing to the Marathon YouTube channel as well to see this coach when it's completed.
Absolutely.
And if one of you want to snap it up, I'd get on the phone here, and
That's right.
This one won't last long.
No, it won't. Andrew, one of the things that I wanted to show you that we've done historically is our marketing team has created a coffee table book. We don't do it too much anymore, but this is for Coach 1236. It's really a nice visual that people can take. You can't take the coach with you when you're going to dinner with people, but you head to the steakhouse with your book in hand and you get to show people literally, hey, this is my custom coach. And it's got a really awesome note in here from our owner, Steve Shellhorn, and all these amazing, beautiful photos of the coach, from decor to soft goods to floor plan. It's really a neat thing to see and to be able to take to people and say, hey, look at my beautiful shower, you know? And it's just really a nice visual that, and a nice touch that we do on these coaches.
Yeah, beautiful coach there too. It looks like fall in Oregon there was when that picture was probably taken.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at that right there. I don't know where, that's downtown somewhere. But really a neat thing. That's Coach 1229. Just a nice touch. Just wanted to share that with you because I enjoy showing those.
Your service department here is extremely impressive. Now you also have service centers in Texas and Florida as well. But what's all going on here in the service center here at the mothership?
One of the things that I talk about a lot on the Marathon Monday show is how making your appointment at our service departments are so important. And as you can see, this is midweek. Look how busy it is. You should have seen this place 2 days ago on a Monday morning. All of our service departments are constantly busy with everything from standard repairs all the way up to upgrades and reimaginings. And that's something that happens very frequent here at the mothership. But all three locations are quite busy at all times.
Yeah, and some really cool, beautiful coaches in the bays right here.
Yes.
I see outside of the bay, that's gotta be late 90s, early 2000s.
I think it's an early 2000s H3, yes.
Still in for service here? Is there any age limit on coaches that you'll service here?
Not at all. If it's a Prevost, even if it's a non-marathon Prevost conversion, we've done those. But primarily we work on marathon Prevost. Depending on age, doesn't really matter. You'll see everything from a 15-year-old marathon all the way up to 20. I see a 25 over there.
And is there anything that they won't do in the service department here? Like the chassis stuff, does that go to Prevost, or do you do chassis stuff here? How does that work?
Good question. If it's chassis work that we can't do in-house, literally right next door, we have one of the best Prevost certified shops right next door to us. And so a lot of that work for chassis goes literally right next door.
Yeah, I see the big Volvo sign out there, which Volvo is the parent company of Prevost. So.
Absolutely.
Now, if someone wants to schedule a service appointment, how far out do you recommend folks typically?
It all depends on what services they need to get done. A lot of times it could be something that they need to make an appointment for that's a couple of months out. Sometimes that week, it just all depends. What I advise people to do is just call the service center and say, hey, these are the issues that I need to get looked at. What's your schedule like? And we will fit them in.
I saw you have 4 paint booths here.
Yes.
Do you do paint and body work here as well?
Absolutely. Everything from repairs all the way up to repaints are done right here in-house. We've got that fiberglass shop in there, so repairs are very common and very easy for us to do because it's all in-house.
And I know you do a lot of interior remodels here as well. Now, when someone does the remodels, do they work with the design team to make sure they're making the right selections, or how does that process work?
Yes, that's exactly what we do. We have the resources in-house to be able to take care of it from design, engineering, and remodel right here, all in this building. One of the things that the Marathon team does very well is if someone brings in a coach like Coach 1230, let's say, or any coach from a different era, we've got a great archive system here, and they can go and they can look at those files and say, okay, this is the original layout of the coach, whether all the schematics are available to us, all the photos are available to us, and over the last several years we've had video. We're able to look at those, and all of them are available for us to make reference to and say, hey, your original sofa looked like this, the sofa now looks like that. Would you like to change it? And we can do that.
This coach is coming and going here. We just saw an awesome paint job with like an arches kind of paint design on the rear end of it.
Absolutely. One of the things that we do really well is we listen to the customers. And the customer came to us and said, hey, we have so much pride in the state that we're from. Can you put the national park that's really famous from our state on the backside of our coach? And the answer was absolutely yes. And we designed it in-house. We painted it in-house. And one of the things that you and I were talking about before we went on camera is if someone has paint repairs or a paint redesign that they want to do at our Florida or Texas location, one of the things that we really encourage them to do is bring it back here. You want Marathon quality? It happens in those 4 60-foot paint booths right here at the mothership. So yes, we require them to come back to the mothership to have their coach repainted.
Yeah, I respect that. You know, I come from the detail world.
Yeah.
And paint is very hard to match perfectly, and there's so many different variables, and I think having it in the same exact environment, you know, the climate, the humidity, that definitely makes sense. It'd be hard to have it exactly the same doing it in different parts of the country here.
You're right. The skills of this team and the resources of that department are only achieved here at Marathon Coburg. It is the headquarters for a reason, and so bringing that coach back here, whether it be for repairs or a repaint or a reimagining of that paint job, really is best suited for the coach here at the mothership.
And with the level of effects that you're doing in your paint as well, and these different colors, the blends, the drop shadows, the ghosting, the stenciling.
Absolutely.
There's very few painters in the world that really understand how to properly paint one of these. No one's gonna repaint a Marathon better than Marathon here at the factory. So.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you. I mean, there's very few things we can't do at Florida and Dallas, but paint is one. The paint has to come back to the mothership to get it done completely correct and Marathon quality.
I see another beautiful coach in for service, my buddy Weldon's coach here. He was really excited about becoming a member of the Marathon family here recently.
Yes, and he's such a great guy, and I'm so happy that he decided to go with a Marathon, and that is a beautiful coach.
Yeah, long time supporter of the channel, a good friend as well, and really happy to see him in a Marathon coach here. Mal, we really appreciate you showing us around this incredible facility. Now, if someone out there wants to learn more about Marathon Coach or purchase a pre-owned or custom build a brand new Marathon coach, what's the best steps for them to take?
Always the website. Our website's fantastic. It was just reimagined, so we have a beautiful new website. Visit that, marathoncoach.com. Direct to me is Mal W, M-A-L-W at marathoncoach.com. But that best way, Andrew, is go straight to the website. There's so much going on Marathon's new website. And so that's what I would say.
And Marathon Coach's social media as well.
Yes.
YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you guys are on all of it.
We're on all the platforms, and I would definitely say go to YouTube and subscribe as you like people to do. Marathon's Facebook page is very active, along with our Instagram.
And we're gonna do an in-depth video on this 2026 triple slide Marathon Coach.
Coach 1422.
Yeah, super special, Coach. Definitely worth checking that video out. As soon as it's edited, we'll make sure to leave that in the description below.
Andrew, we really appreciate you taking the time to come out. It's just been my honor to really show you this facility and all of the resources that we have within Marathon. So I'm excited to show you Coach 1422. But like I always say, be yourself and do good things, everybody. And thank you, Andrew.
Hey, thank you for the opportunity. Really appreciate it, and appreciate all of you out there liking, sharing, and following. And make sure to check out Marathon Mondays with Mal on Marathon Coach's YouTube channel. Appreciate all of you.
Awesome.